Welcome back to your mat in Diane Yoga. Today I want to talk about Chaturanga, that infamous high plank to low plank that happens in the sun salutation. A. Surya Namaskar A. So there are modifications we can take. Rather than avoid the Chaturanga altogether, let's make it our own. Let's make it safe with proper alignment and modifications that you can do forevermore. Every time you Chaturanga, modify. So perhaps a couple of tips here will help demystify and make you a little less weary of the high plank to low plank, which is great core work, but the shoulder stability is greatly compromised in that high plank to low plank if perfect alignment is not followed. So we'll talk about the variations, and then you can add your Chaturanga right back into your practice as wonderfully as your happy baby and your cat-cow. So let's begin as we usually do in any body awareness practice, to come to our breath and just center. Taking a moment to breathe in big and exhale deeply and purposefully, bringing ourselves present on our mat once again. Presenting ourselves to the healing power of the mat and our awareness. Let's begin in a couple of cat-cow poses. Bringing the hands, as I talk about often, right under the shoulders, making sure the joints are stacked, they're not too far away from the body, forward or to the side. Press the fingertips wide into the mat, allowing a little bit of weight to actually come off the palm, and enlivening the upper arms to rotate them forward, inward. Elbow faces forward versus facing each other. Elbow pits forward, a little inner rotation, tucking the chin, feeling the length of the spine and the cervical spine. Allowing your knees to be directly under your hips and lengthening out the tailbone, feeling a nice flat back here. Gaze between the thumbs and just come in contact with the energy in the hands and the knees and the tops of the feet. The belly's drawn in gently and the shoulder blades are spread gently. We're going to soften the elbows just a little bit to drop the belly and shine the collarbones forward. Inhale. And then exhale, straighten the arms around the back. Tuck the toes and let the hips shift over the heels to press the shoulder blades to the sky. Inhale, drop the belly, straighten the arms to the top of that inhale. And exhale, tuck the chin around the spine. Tuck the curl the toes. Two more. Inhale, flatten the toes, drop the belly. And exhale, perhaps curl the toes around the back, tuck the chin, press everything into the mat, shoulder blades spreading to the sky. Last one. Inhale, drop the belly. Sip a little more air. And exhale, get all that air out from the bottom of the lungs, spread the shoulder blades open to the sky. And coming back to neutral to get ready for Adho Mukha Svanasana. Taking those hands out another 6 inches, a little tiny bit wider. Press the fingertips into the mat and allow the energy to come into the arms as we tuck the toes, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So what you want here is feet about hip distance apart, 2 fist widths. You can walk your heels right and left for a minute, just engage in the back of that legs, and then pause. If your heels make it to the ground, walk those feet back a little bit. Let those heels hover. Let the legs lengthen the back. If your knees feel like they're bending, that's fine. We're just always just stretching the hips up to that back corner. Making sure you're not arching in the back, but you've got your belly drawn in, your tail drawn down just a little bit. Nice long spine. Inhale here. Exhale. Pushing those chest towards the toes, but keeping the length in the spine. One more breath. Engaging that pelvic floor and the low belly, round up the spine and walk those feet with bent knees to the hands. When they get here, stay low, sitting in the chair. Slide those hands up the shins and lengthen the spine, the back of the legs, shoulders drawn back. Exhale, bend the knees once again, place the hands on the toes or the mat, and push yourself up to standing nice and tall. And mountain pose. Remember, we begin every pose at a nice firm foundation called mountain pose. Your feet are parallel looking down at them. Shoulders are drawn back. Big toe and heel are pressing into the mat as well as the pinky side of the foot. Drawing the belly gently in and up, shoulders back, and lengthen the spine. One thing to add in your mountain pose and in all your movements throughout your day is to picture the pelvic floor just gently being drawn together. It gives you that foundation of the core we should make all our movements from. So the first modification in your Chaturanga will be knees, chest, chin. That's the way to remember it. So again, mountain pose, pressing into the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend. Sit in the chair. Don't let the weight come forward. Bring the knees back. Bending the legs. Take the hands to the feet or the shins. And then straighten the legs. Lengthen the spine. Gently draw the shoulder blades together. And place both hands down flat. Step back right and left. Come to your knees. Flatten your toes. And then arch it back a little bit. Bring the elbows close to the body and lead with the chin coming on down and then the chest. And then lengthen out the spine. Draw the shoulder blades down towards the heels. Feel like a necklace is dragging you across the floor with a nice long neck. You're not arching up. You get a nice long neck. Breathing. Hands pressing your upper body away from the toes straight. And exhale. Tuck your toes. Adho Mukha Svanasana. At the end of the exhale, there's room for your diaphragm to allow your feet to come up to the hands. Lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Shoulder blades draw together. Exhale, bend the knees, press the feet into the mat, and push yourself up to standing. And mountain pose. So knees, chest, and chin. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, weight in the heels, bend the knees. Inhale, straighten the legs, lengthen the spine. Shoulder blades draw together, peek forward. Taking a couple of big, long inhales. And exhale, lengthening out the tailbone. Again, even if it means bending your knees a little bit, just keeping that tailbone long. And exhale, perhaps pressing the heels back, keeping the fingertips rooted, not just the heels and the palms of the hand, but add the fingertips. Strengthen and lengthen the arms. One more breath. And coming down to your knees. Breathing nice and wide. Walk your hands back. Sit on your heels. Take a minute here to find a nice place for your hips and heels to meet. And then exhaling forward, coming to your elbows perhaps. Two fists, a nice long child's pose. Perhaps exhaling, allowing your forehead to rest on the back of two palms. And ultimately walking those arms out. And resting in child's pose, Balasana. Letting the hips get heavy on the heels. Relaxing your shoulders into their sockets. Palms gently touching the mat, open, receiving. Chin tucked gently to keep a nice long cervical spine, not to jack the neck. Just rest. Coming again into that centering breath. Big and purposeful, following the air in, exhaling, following the air out. One more. Drawing your hands back by your shoulders, pressing into the mat, tuck your chin, engage the belly, and unfurl one vertebra at a time. Come into a comfortable seated pose, perhaps both feet together, both knees together. Perhaps in a nice gentle crossed legs pose. Just taking a minute to acknowledge your practice and to allow yourself the patience and space and time to modify your Chaturanga, your sun salutation, to what your body is asking of you. Not so much a mental image or a picture in a magazine or the yogini next to you. What is your body asking? And the more we step on the mat, the more we come to know the answer to that. So enjoy your Chaturangas. Bring with them, into them, a playfulness, a liveliness. After all, it is yoga practice. It's not yoga perfect. Thank you for joining me today. The highest in me honors the highest in you. Namaste.